Hello again. It's us.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Uh,
I feel like for
we
Dio's
are.
sake, I have to say thank you, Zoom lady.
I know
Oh
he's not
yeah,
here.
right. We do need to thank the almighty Zoom lady
Yeah.
for allowing us to record. Uh, but yeah. Hi. This is going to be a very chill little bit of bonus content because
Yeah.
we are getting officially into production for season 2 of Heinous Investigations. It's been a little while, but we're ready. We're pumped. Woot woot. Yeah, very exciting. So we're just basically going to be answering some questions from uh Patreon and also from a few members of our little heinous squad that couldn't be here tonight.
Mm.
Yeah, it's going to be very good, very chill. Uh and Yeah, I don't think there's too much to say about season 2 off the bat because I don't want to spoil too much, but we'll take a look at these questions and go from there. But before I do that, really quick, I should probably just actually introduce everyone. Man, it's so much easier when Dio's here. And I can just push this on him.
You're like, Dio, you do it.
That is what I do pretty much every time he's here.
Weird.
He's good at it. I don't know.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, hi. Yeah, it's me again. It's Jess, creator, writer, director, producer of The Thing. And I voice Elliot and Sai and Martin. Okay. I've also got what order do I want to go in today? Let's start with Toan. Hi, Toan.
Hi, I'm Toan. I'm the voice of Algernon Graham, and also I am the voice of, how did I forget him? He's my most favorite. He's the most pivotal character in the show.
You mean Clay Carter?
There it is.
I was gonna say Walking New England, Clay Carter.
Yes, Clay Carter. Yes.
We've also got Naomi here, who is currently in the middle of a run of her show, original musical, which is awesome. We're gonna get into that more later. Be ready. It's actually part of a Patreon question. So,
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
You're being asked about.
Well, not specifically just the show. You will see. I have it all planned.
Uh-oh.
But yes.
But yes, I'm Naomi. I play Liza.
Woo. Okay, now let's say that who we got left here? Oh, James. James is here.
That's me. Hi, I'm James. I voice Rachel. Sometimes I exist.
What do you do in the off hours?
Oh, you know.
So accurate to my soul.
Oh, okay.
So deeply.
And Meg is here.
Hi, I'm Meg. And I play everybody's little favorite genius,
Oh, you little
Benji.
genius.
And
yeah, Benji's on the cover of Baby Geniuses.
Him and his little tie. He goes,
Yeah.
Super Babies, Baby Geniuses too.
He's from the Little Einsteins, don't you remember?
He is Little Einstein.
Oh my gosh. Okay, last but not least is Emily.
Hello, I'm Emily. I voice Cersei and many of the other fun folk you will meet and have met. And I don't know if any of my characters have died, actually.
I think we've only had one implied character death in the entire show.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's pretty dang good. I had to
Survival
I've said
rate
it before.
is incredible.
I had to say it before.
Survival rate
I had to raise the stakes really early, but then also I had to make sure that it was clear that this wasn't also going to be that all the
Just
time.
a gore
That this was
fest.
silly.
Yeah.
To be honest, I technically never said what happened to the like if that guy was actually gone. maybe
falling into a pit with a land shark.
Maybe I'll write him back
maybe he swam out.
immediately later.
You know, about
good thing I found that shovel underground.
Yeah, like 11 other people did the exact same thing, and they're all fine.
Yeah, you know. Statistically, it's not 100% chance.
The ghost of the old highwayman whose treasure was down there saved me. Honestly, there are so many ways I could retcon it if I really wanted.
Yeah.
But that is like, there you go. That's the entirety of season 2. Us retconning
Us
that one
retconning
moment
that
of season
one
1. Okay. Let's kick this off with actual questions and not kick off a chain of conspiracy theories.
But that's where I live, Jess. That is my home.
That is my home.
Okay, I'm going to start, I think, with our Patreon questions. Thank you so much to I will say, our Patreon forces. They are small in number, but they are mighty, and we thank them.
Yes.
And if you want to get onto our Patreon and join in and support us, patreon.com/wildlypods. Just saying.
What was that link, Jess?
patreon.com/WILDELYPODS.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I can't spell. So
Snaps all around.
I got you.
Snappy snaps.
All right. So for our first question, this is very pointed at me, as are a few of these questions. But let's just see what happens. So question number 1: where did this story come from? That is a loaded question.
yeah, that is very much a you question.
Loaded with fun.
Do any of us even know?
I mean,
don't think so.
I know. It came from Jess's brain, obviously.
Actually, that is very much an actually Benji. Like,
oh my gosh.
Actually, Jess thought of it. Duh.
Yes, Benji hanging out with his 2 best friends, Rebecca and Jebeki.
I need a side episode of that now.
Oh my
Just like
gosh.
a quick 10-minute.
quick short.
I will say
that's what it was.
Heinous shorts.
I will say, if you want
them on
a
YouTube.
full kind of behind the scenes look at every episode individually, we do have our little Wildly Abandoned episodes that are currently audio wise all lined up on YouTube and video wise on Patreon, patreon.com/wildlypods. So
You want to see what our faces look like?
you definitely are
for terror.
Yo,
You're
jump
definitely
scare for real.
Yeah,
Having so many hot people in one space is terrifying.
So yeah, I would definitely go on and look for Wildly.
If you're bisexual, I'm
YouTube.
sorry.
If you're bisexual, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Hey. Yeah, so definitely check out Wildly Abandoned for individual fun behind the scenes episode stories. But I think for the show in general, I think it's kind of a mix of things. It's a mix of like my love for like a lot of shows growing up where there were just a ragtag bunch of misfits going up against the villain or the monster of the week. Those were like my favorite shows as a kid. Thinking of like off the top of my head shows like I felt like Danny Phantom was evocative of that for me.
Yes.
What do you call it? Various generations of Power Rangers. Thinking of some others. We get the Scooby-Doo shout out a lot. I was raised on a lot of Scooby-Doo.
Love Scooby-Doo.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And then
But probably not the newer Scooby-Doo stuff.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about
Hey.
I don't need to get into that.
That's
No.
not connected.
No.
Fair enough.
Don't you
Fair
slander
enough.
the good Scooby-Doo
Scooby-Doo name.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's like, yeah. So those are all things that definitely inspired me. And I think also there's like a heavy dose of like, to me, fan fiction thrown in there, both in the logic and in the fact that there are I have a lot of literary influences and shout outs in the show, like Jack and Algie's parents having the Oscar Wilde interest, and hence their names and their dynamic. And then the Elliot's whole angel demon thing's got a very like Jekyll and Hyde parallel to it. And there's we did a whole vampire episode where I lifted vampire lore straight from Dracula. It's a lot of that stuff thrown into. It's just this like hodgepodge of like pop cultural things that are really fun to both pay homage to and make fun of.
Yes.
So that's really where that all came together. The specific characters just all kind of popped in my head in various times, and through my very stressed college years when I needed an outlet, and they all just kind of poured out of my brain and started interacting in my weird mind space, and then it just kind of happened. I can't it's really awkward to explain it, but it's pretty much just me writing one big love letter with crazy characters that I just happened to come up with. And I know for a fact the next question is character inspo. It's like just literally character inspo question mark. And I already kind of said, that Jack and Algie have that very similar dynamic to their namesakes and importance of being earnest. I really liked that goofy dynamic, and I'm like, oh, we should probably see more of that. But also, what if they had superpowers? Sorry. Yeah. But that's basically, I'm like, what if we made this more complicated? Yeah. So that's that. I have also talked about before the many stages of Carlton. Because I knew I wanted like some kind of parody of like the straight white male leading man character. That was also very heavily, a lot of those shows I like listed all had that kind of character as kind of like the de facto team leader. And I was like, well, I mean, it's nice to leave an opening for, obviously, like, we're very big about leaving openings for diversity and inclusion, but also what if we did include this character, but it was funny? Yeah. So Carlton had a couple different things. He started out as like a James Bond knockoff who was actually British, and I'm happy, like a British expat, and I'm happy I didn't stick with that. Because it just would have been like, I think it would have been too much. There is kind of a joke where he does mention James Bond, I think in one of the vampire episodes. It's kind of a little joke about that. And a little Easter egg, I guess. And then for a while he was a what do you call it, like an FBI agent, I think, or like one of those government organizations. And he was more like very, very, very straight-laced, and as opposed to Miriam, who was actually going to be the more unhinged one. But I think it became more of them balancing each other out, them being taking turns being the unhinged one. Yeah. So I think that that is a lot more interesting and fun to play around with, because you never know exactly who's going to be the voice of reason in the moment, which is really fun to write and fun to do. I think like I said, I talked about some literary influences. Rachel is indirectly based on that one creepy kid from the Twilight Zone. There's literally an episode with that terrifying omnipotent child. And I was like, what is this kid for nice? I really love the Twilight Zone. Yeah. Also a great place for inspiration for this kind of wacky stuff. I mean, Twilight Zone takes it a lot more seriously, but I feel like I'm just gonna be droning on here, but I'm trying to think any other things. Miriam, I just really wanted to see a single mom be a badass like they are in real life. Orville was kind of, I feel like sometimes
Lena was beaming a thought into my head for a second there. My brain went hot.
I mean, well, yeah, that I'm not gonna lie, that did contribute a bit to Orville. Like the hot one, the hot stoic one. But yeah, there's always one really dramatic trauma baby who just needs to be loved. So who's also the powerhouse. I was like, yep, that's Orville. It's really just taking a lot of stereotypes that I've like collected over the years and kind of fleshing them out into their own characters. Even Ginny, who's like, very perky, is also, and like fun and sweet, is also very like bossy and invasive and and a little ditzy. And I think that's kind of fun to incorporate some things you may not see as often in the character types, although I think ditzy does cross over with sweetness quite a bit, but she still has her moments where she's very like sharp, and even though maybe her ideas are misguided, she still knows what she's doing. And I would be remiss if I didn't shout out the bad guys a little bit. I think Delia, I think I've said before that Delia specifically was I was frustrated by the fact that a lot of the bad guys in media, especially like growing up, again, you had your straight white male hero protagonist rivaled by usually another male
white male.
Yeah. So I was like, why don't we have any like goofy unhinged women characters? Because like women can be goofy and unhinged. So I thought that was really fun. And I think inspirations for that were like I love The Wizard of Oz, so like Wicked Witch of the West, Margaret Hamilton, classic, like crazy, goofy, like over the top lady performance for a villain, and Eartha Kitt as Yzma in The Emperor's New Groove.
Yes.
Was it freaking Rita Repulsa in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers? Just like those were kind of my go-tos for. I'm like, we need more of that in the world, because it's still like I feel like a lot of times overwhelmingly male. And I'm like, I just want to have a goofy, crazy lady villain, and for every, big lady villain, there's also like a kind of, savvy right hand man kind of character, which is where Nate comes in. Poor Nate. And I like the fact that they're siblings, which also kind of changes up the dynamic a little bit. From the usual, I feel like just friends or not even friends, but I don't know what that relationship usually is. It's definitely abusive in almost every scenario, but the family element definitely adds complexity. And then there's just Cersei, who's just an icon in every single way. I feel like Cersei was just the manifestation of everybody's inner voice. And everyone's had that moment where they just wake up and they just are like, can I just not? That's
you
Cersei.
wake up. No.
Not today.
So true.
Yeah.
And that's just Cersei just wants to watch her shows and eat junk food in her bathrobe and slippers and just have a day.
Is that so wrong?
Yeah.
Right.
I think that, and I like the idea of this very enthusiastic like wannabe supervillain who has just the like I don't want to say pathetic, but kind of ride along sidekick, and then the apathetic accomplice in Cersei. So it rounds everything out really well, and it's all just about being as goofy as possible, and that's what I think everybody gets out of the story and the characters. I see a lot of reviews where people are like, this just makes me smile, and I'm like, good, that's literally all I want. Just
goal accomplished.
To be silly. I've never wanted to like, I'm not going for an Oscar here. We're making really stupid jokes and like puns because it's fun. Here's a question that's kind of an everybody question, but it's also a very easy one to answer. Do y'all live close or far from each other?
Well,
far away.
This is a complicated question.
Yeah.
We are coast to coast.
Coast to coast and across coasts in some cases.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us live across this cute little pond called the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, just a little baby amount of water.
Just
I could probably drink it all if I wanted to.
No, I'm real thirsty.
Yeah. We got people in New York. We got people in LA. We got people in, I can't even name them all,
Nebraska,
honestly.
Texas.
Nebraska, Texas, yeah. Virginia, yeah. Colorado. Toan, New Hampshire. I remembered.
New Hampshire.
Woo!
Yeah.
Here's where the podcast is.
Hey.
Is that
Yes.
where it is? Hanesbury's
It's New
coastal
England.
a coastal town.
Is New Hampshire not? Is that landlocked?
Is it? I thought it was landlocked.
Not
Is it
100%.
Really?
100%.
Oh,
There's
is
a
there like a little?
little?
Oh, like what? Just the tip?
It's
is
just
kind
like
of...
Just the tip.
What was that, Jess?
You know what I said.
Where's Lena?
Patreon members are already working on clipping it. No, there's just this little part. There's this little. We dip our little butt in the water.
Aw.
Many do. Many such cases.
Many such cases. Just
As one does.
someone does.
I've said before that I think Hainesbury is located in New Hampshire, Massachusetts Island. Just like,
So true.
So like tri-state area.
Isn't there a
effectively.
Hainesbury, Connecticut?
there's
Am I
an
having a-
there's an Amesbury,
Amesbury,
I believe,
yeah.
but not a Hainesbury.
That's Massachusetts. Let me
Yes,
see.
that is Massachusetts. There are similarly named places, but there's nowhere in New England, as to my knowledge, that spells Hainesbury. I mean, that is Hainesbury spelled the way that we spell it.
Yeah.
I did my very minimal amount of Google research for this. I was like, Hainesbury in New England?
Besides,
mark?
if
Yeah.
it turns out it does exist, the people of Hainesbury should feel blessed to have such a cursed town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish my town was
It was
this
this
And
cursed.
to have
cursed.
such
There's just white people
distinguished
here.
citizens like
It's just, I mean,
like
isn't that a
Clay
curse in
and
and of
Mike
itself?
and Chester.
Y'all said it, not me. I'm out.
Oh god.
I
Wait,
agree.
what did I miss?
I agree. I agree. I
I'm done.
agree.
Oh god, I missed something again because I was rambling on in creator language.
No, I said.
Don't
I
worry.
said. I said. I wish my town was cursed. We just have white people here. And somebody said, "Well, isn't that the curse?" And I was like, "Yeah, pretty much."
I'm okay.
Lay down the
But are
law.
they rich?
That makes them more cursed.
Oh.
Okay. So yeah, I think that answers that question.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
Oh, if we live close or far away.
Yeah.
Both.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Depending on who
all
you're
of the above.
talking
Yes,
to.
and
This
Yes,
is the
and-
this is the last of our Patreon questions. And it's kind of what I alluded to before. What other art forms do y'all get into? Naomi?
I see.
Well, I did
Let's have
write a
it.
musical that is currently, we sold out our full run as of today.
Yeah!
So, yay.
Hey.
I have a crowbar. Break your legs.
What?
I will.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I was like, where are we going?
But yes, I do dabble in the writing and the songwriting and various theater things, including now producing a show.
And
Yeah.
it's damn good.
Yeah, it is. I saw it. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's so cool. And what is the show called so that people can look
Yes.
it up?
It's
Very
called
cool.
Ladies Lady, and we are on the social medias as Ladies Lady Musical on pretty much every social media. Though
I'm sorry. What was
I
what was
don't
that link
really-
again? I'm sorry. I'm very hard of hearing. Could you say that one more time?
Ladies Lady Musical.
And that
Okay.
is LADIES LADY
Yes.
musical.
Oh,
Excellent.
wow.
Ah, very
Yes.
nice.
So feel free to
Following as we speak.
nice.
Just kidding. I already followed.
Already done.
But yes, the demo album featured some voices that you might know already. Though sadly they could not be part of the stage production because everyone is far and busy. But
True. But we're here now and we are so proud and supportive. Yeah.
yay.
All right. I mean, this is basically my big artistic project. My day job does involve a lot of like design work, but we don't have to talk about that. No,
We don't
it's
talk
really
about day jobs.
We don't talk about
No.
day jobs here.
Yeah,
Graphic
no.
design is my passion.
Okay. Well,
Don't
I mean,
at me.
okay. To be fair, I mean, like I do like in all jokes aside, I do like doing the design work, and I'm hoping that eventually I really want to like do more of what I'm doing here, producing and being in charge of stuff. So maybe I'll get to do that for some design things in the future. Who knows? Speaking of design and things, Toan.
Yeah, I do a lot of design. I design as part of my day job, but also I'm more of a character designer, and you can kind of see some of the fruits of that because a lot of
Gross.
the like ads that you've seen for our podcast, some of them have been made by yours truly.
Yeah. Yeah, the
That's
Heinous Investigations, that fun little like blue background, the thing I call Heinous Investigations the poster.
The poster, yeah.
Yeah, that has that was Toan's, and we have a bunch of promotional artwork that I'm hoping to post on our social media later. I've kind of been hoarding it with the tea labels, specifically on Adagio teas. Look up Heinous Investigations teas on Adagio teas. I don't have the link for that memorized. Don't try me, Toan.
Okay, fine.
But no, Toan does some awesome stuff. And
I've been dabbling with streaming, so if you want to see how some of that art gets made, you can go ahead and look for Token Relief on Twitch.
Yeah, Token Relief on Twitch. Woo! Yes. I know Emily's been up to some cool stuff lately too. What have you been doing?
I mean, it's kind of art. I'm on a D&D actual play, so that's improv art.
That is,
it's called World Weavers.
Yes,
World Weavers through the Homebrew Network. I mean, this is kind of related. I also do like little handy crafts just for myself. Like I love sewing and making dice bags, and I'm working on a bodice right now. I just made a chainmail dice bag. I just finished that up, so that's super cool.
Nice.
But yeah, mostly just voice acting and D&D, which we'll see if it stays D&D, but actual plays.
Yay!
Go check out World Weavers. It's super cool.
I have a few other systems if you need them.
We are looking. My DM created a new system. Like, it's been in the works. He was gonna do it anyways, and he's like, "Yeah,
that's great."
So look for Mythcraft on Kickstarter.
Hey, very nice.
I'm sorry. What was that?
That was Mythcraft on Kickstarter, created by the creator of the Homebrew Network, which the show World Weavers is on.
Yeah, very nice. Good plug. So James, what are you up to?
That's me. What am I up to? I've moved twice in the past like 5 months. I'm surviving. You know that fun little pond called the Atlantic Ocean. I have drank half of that. That's how I feel. I'm just I found the window of the voice acting building, and I am slowly like beating my way into it.
Heck yeah. I would also like to say,
I would describe it.
I would also like to say you've written some pretty sweet fan fiction that we have.
Some very, very good fan fiction. And one that you've alluded to that I'm still waiting for.
I actually did make a little bit of progress. We'll talk.
Heck yeah. And I think that just leaves hey Meg.
Hey. Oh, what arts do I do?
What arts do you do?
That's a good question. It's not like I got a whole degree in this or anything. Well, I have my undergrad degree in being an actor, I guess.
That feel.
Yeah.
So, like, technically I do act. Have I done that? Well, I act for this. So I was going to say I haven't acted in a while, but I do. I'm also a singer. I love to sing. Is one of my favorite things to do. And I'm also a writer. That's not something I talk too much about with this little pal gang, but I am a writer.
Where have you been? Where are you hiding it?
What am I hiding? Yo, search Archive of Our Own. See if you can find me, baby.
I'm sorry, what was that link?
Sorry,
on www.archiveofourown.com. Not sponsored. Not sponsored.
2 W's.
There's two www. Just the two. I added the third in for pizzazz. But I'm a writer, I'm a singer, I'm a person who's alive, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. That's a triple threat, baby.
Yeah.
I can't dance, but I sure as hell can cry really hard.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Oh my god.
Aggressive tears.
It's like that picture where it's like, look how hard I can cry, and it's like the stick man going, and the tears are shooting out of his eyes really hard. That's me.
Yep.
Well,
I'll send the picture somewhere.
Believe it or not, you guys, now that we have moved on from our Patreon questions already, and we've got a couple more questions here from just people within our own group who make the podcast. Mostly Owen.
Love you,
Sound God.
Love you, Owen.
Remember when we said there were people across the Atlantic involved? Owen, our awesome, one of our awesome sound editor, designer, mixer people. They do all the things. He lives over in the UK. We've also got shout outs to Finn over in Denmark. But yeah,
The sound gods.
Due to the sound gods. Due to the
I haven't given Finn's thing.
So yeah, due to the time difference, it is very hard for them to make these things. So yeah, let's just see if we can answer some of Owen's questions.
Yes.
Owen's like, my first question, when do I get paid?
Excuse
Never.
you, okay?
First question, when do you let me out of the hole?
Can I have a flashlight, please?
What day is it?
Okay, this one's actually really good. These are actually ones about going into season 2. So that's really fun. He asks, since he is our sound guy, he asks, what sound effect would you like to see repeated from season 1? I think for me, this came to my head. This one came to my head immediately, but I'm a big fan of the there it is.
Yeah, the foot noise that has been invented is perfect.
Yeah, and again, solely because it's just me going and
very good,
with a little bit of sound editing. So I just like to hear myself be the voice of the thwips. I also like the little rubber duck noises that have appeared in various areas, various episodes. Have you found them all?
See, the problem is we can't ask for more of that because then it'll be more obvious.
Will it though?
It will never.
I trust their prowess.
Can you see the forest? The trees in the forest?
They're just going to get more clever in hiding them. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Maybe I'm biased. I do love the Cersei thundercracks, mostly because it is then followed. It's like this big thing, and then it's just like nothing. Just absolute neutral level.
Followed by
Yeah.
I do love that. I do love the idea of just this insane, like really dramatic sound, and then it's just Cersei.
Just hey. What?
Yeah, it's a good one.
This might feel a little like Umbrella, but I love the ambient noises that they make to like make it feel like you're really in the scene. All of those are really good.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh yeah, quality ambient noises. Very nice. Yeah, I would like to say that I also helped with those, but yeah, no, it's mainly them being really good at cleaning it up and mixing it, so it sounds good.
For some reason, I'm stuck on the giant worm noises. It doesn't make sense for them to come back, but I love them. I just want
giant worm too.
Giant worm returns.
Giant
Give
worm
the
too,
people what they want.
Yeah, that's how Rachel got rid of it. She just poofed it to another point in time.
And then
it's just
no longer a
Jess
problem,
any
right?
Ideas. Jess is like, interesting. I'm not writing anything down right now.
I mean, I may have some ideas, but
Return of Worm?
Return of
protagonist?
Worm?
not this
Return of the Worm.
Not this season. I can tell you that. Or can I?
Worm.
To quote my
But
dear
I don't think we want
Brennan
to open that
Logan.
can of worms.
If you
Sorry,
want to see
I'll
the
go.
Return of
I'll
the Worm, get in the
myself
comments.
Get in the comments.
Get in the comments.
You're right.
Oh, really? Get in the comments.
Yeah.
Love that.
And remember to go to www.worm.com.
And don't forget to like,
/worms.
comment, and subscribe.
Smash that bell.
Smash that like button.
Yeah.
Come home. Give your significant other a kiss on the lips.
Call your
And we'll see you
mom.
next
She
time.
worries.
Drink some water. You look
Please
dehydrated.
drink water. I see you.
But not the water between here and Europe. I'm taking care of that.
yeah, me and Mike
Between
together.
James and I are slurping that shit up. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. No, any other? Oh, crud! We have less than a minute left in this call. Oh no! I have to start a new one. Ah!
Thank you, Zoom lady.
Zoom lady.
Zoom lady.
I love you, baby.
We do this every time.
The cult
Just
of
don't
the Zoom
usually
lady.
include it. Yeah, we just don't usually include this, but we're gonna now.
Now.
All right.
You'll be so confused.
Never gonna know what hit him.
I'm never gonna
Never
know.
gonna live you. You didn't know you're gonna get rickrolled this time.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Anywho,
baby.
Is there
how about
any
those questions?
Oh yeah. Do we have any other sound effect notes? Anything we're thinking off the top of our heads, or are we gonna move on to the next one?
I feel like Frank in and of himself is a sound effect, and I'm just always excited for that.
Obsessed.
Where are all the
true.
fart sound effects?
where's
How'd you
the
get
whip
out of the
crack?
chat?
Furiously typing. I need
All right.
maximum speed. I gotta do this on 7 alt accounts.
All right. So our next question here is is there anyone you're sad for going into season 2? You know what's coming. Who's traumatized? Oh God.
The fun part is you're the only one
Me.
that knows what's coming as of right now.
I know. Okay. Here's what I can say. No one is necessarily getting traumatized. That's not to say that there's some trauma that we're gonna dig into.
Besides the actors, you mean?
Oh God.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am the one who is traumatized. At the end of the day, it is me.
Oh God. So I said, I don't remember if I've said this before, honestly. I just start forgetting after a while. But I will say that, we did a lot of wacky, like, monster of the week, like, type things, running around chasing after monsters in season 1. I think that this season is focused a little bit more. The monster is relating to each other.
The monster
Maybe
was
the
inside
monster
us
was the
whole
friends
time.
we made along the way.
Yeah. Exactly.
He says knife outstretched.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's gonna be there are some episodes. I think there's actually, I can think of at least one story arc off the top of my head where there isn't even a physical antagonist. It's more just the investigators dealing with their own hang-ups and personal drama. So that's going to be really interesting and very fun. And it's also it's one of those very deep introspective episodes, but our version of that. So
when the monster is childhood trauma.
When the monster is sus.
What are you talking about? No. Okay. Yeah, so but
laugh because it hurts.
I mean, if I'm feeling sad, I don't know if I'm feeling sad for anyone necessarily. I just feel like they're all gonna learn things about each other and themselves, and maybe they'll feel a little sad during that, but then it will get better. Healing, very important.
We love healing.
Yes, A+ for healing. Yeah, so that's, I don't know if there's really much more I can really spoil. I mean, I feel like no, I think I'm gonna hold back a little bit. But I will say, give me a couple more questions and we'll see what I'm really bad with spoilers.
Jess's inner Mark Ruffalo is
trying to, I know, it's like freaking, yeah, exactly. It's like
a secret must be told.
I know, it's like that's Mark Ruffalo's real life version of hulking out. Just spoilers.
That's my secret, Cap. I'm always spoiling.
Okay. This question is actually from AJ. Actually, there's one in here. Thanks, AJ our actually. Lovely Delia.
Yes. Thank you, Dungeon Daddy.
Thank you, Dungeon Daddy.
Yeah. AJ's got to run another D&D thing. For us, probably not for a while. Yeah. Also, just maybe not on this public platform. We'll see how things turn out.
It's for our private lives.
Listen, we have lives outside of you.
What?
You do?
Audience.
You guys have
tell them that. They're gonna revolt.
Okay, so this question from AJ is, what does the creative process look like for you from the idea stage to an episode's release? It starts out as a me question, but then it kind of turns into an everybody else question. I would just say the ideas, honestly, they kind of just hit me at random times. I'll like be freaking walking to the train on my way to work, and I'll just randomly have an idea for a scene like in an episode that I would be like, ooh, that's going to be good like 2 seasons from now when we're on season 2. So like I kind of just like it's like one big bowl of like idea soup in my brain, and whatever spills out honestly. I will force myself to sit down and make an outline around the soup, like structure it. Sorry, this just became this is a really weird. I need the Google Docs bowl to contain the mind soup.
Yes.
Basically.
You're just organizing the letters.
The alphabet soup. There you go.
I pour my brain soup into the podcast crock pot and set that baby low. Let it simmer.
12 hours.
Yeah, so I think that's essentially the ideas. I also a big part of my creative process, which everybody here knows, and I've actually said in like an interview or two before, I think, because I've done interview things. About this show, but I also, a big part of the developing the scenes and make sure they all work is just me walking around my apartment like a crazy person, talking to myself as all the characters to see if that interaction really works, because I have to do it all in the real space, even though this is a voice acting thing. But yeah, then once the episodes are all written out and I have some semblance of how the episode's going to go, the scripts get handed out to the voice actors and the sound peoples, and sound people go and do their design stuff, designing any sound effects or pulling sounds from their libraries, get those all organized, while we come on to Zoom together at a designated time, rehearse X amount of episodes at a time. We'll record those, and then we have that kind of as a reference, and everybody goes back and does their respective recording practices. I'll say that for me, when I record my stuff, I've said it before, I'm very like, I wouldn't say physical necessarily when I do things, but I've talked a lot about, there've been a lot of, I don't know why I did this to myself, but there's a lot of bits in season 1 of Elliot getting dragged around or tackled or accidentally hit, essentially. So it was a lot of me upstairs, back when I was still living upstate. It was me in my bedroom, just grabbing myself by the collar and just going like a whole bunch, and praying that people who happened to who might have overheard me just thought I was okay. But yeah, no, that's always really fun, and I like doing a lot of that kind of thing. There was another bit where Psy burps in an episode, and I just chugged a whole mess of root beer and ate like a very like filling dinner, and then went upstairs and just went crazy. So like I guess I try to be like really into that kind of thing when I record, but we've said before, I really like the Emily's story about Cersei eating.
Marshmallows for the win.
Marshmallows.
Yeah. Do you guys have any like specific things you do like when you're doing your characters? I know this is a question we get asked all the time, or that we ask each other in some way, shape, or form, but like, is there any like physical like rituals you do, like a certain way you set up your recording space, or like maybe like, do you have like mannerisms that you get into now when I voice things? I find that when I'm on these bonus content things and I'm ever doing Elliot, I have this tendency to put my hands behind my back, which I don't know. I just started doing it as like an impulse, but like those kinds of things.
Yeah,
I definitely slump when I'm doing Cersei. There's a lot of the like head rolled back. What were you gonna say, James?
I'm an eyebrow actor. Especially when I'm doing Rachel. Like the higher my voice goes, the farther up my forehead my eyebrows travel. So
I love that so much.
That's so cute, though. Perfect.
Yeah, I like extremely overact with my face to like get the energy in my voice. Like it just helps to like be like, oh my God, I'm Liza.
Yeah.
And I'm also like very bouncy too, because I feel like she would like, if this were animated, as we were saying before, I feel like she would be bouncy.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. She'd be like a very specific brand of bouncy, I feel like. Because Jenny is just like, I would feel like is very, 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 very high energy bouncy. Whereas Liza's kind of, I feel like, got like this like smoothness, I feel like, to the bounce.
Yeah, like a grace to it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a grace to it.
Graceful bounce.
Sure. Graceful bounce.
That's like a bob.
What about Toan and Meg? You guys got anything?
For me, it's interesting. For me, I try to get more elastic because while Jack is definitely the one with stretchy powers, I find that Algie is the most elastic emotionally. So I try to make sure I have a lot of room. I try to make sure my face is all loosened up and I also make sure to physically go downstairs and tell people, hey, by the way, I'm recording. If you hear arguing and shouting upstairs, that's why.
It's me with myself. Don't worry about it. It's me and
myself. No one's actually in danger.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we do a lot of screaming on this show, and I'm always afraid I'm gonna get the cops called on me or something.
Yeah, I remember having to do an evil laugh a few times, or whatever side's approximation of an evil laugh is, and that's like I had to warn everyone downstairs, same thing. Just like I'm not going insane. This is just for my podcast where I talk to myself. It's fine.
You're like, oh, okay, Jess, totally.
Sure,
sweetheart.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had to do anything too crazy yet. Like nothing that needs to like warn people about.
Need an audio warning.
Yeah.
What do you mean? No.
We're throwing Rachel in a blender.
Oh God. No, we are not doing this
fast.
again. We are not talking about harming children again. Not again.
Yeah, we're not talking about that.
Children for sport.
Meg, quick, talk about your process, Meg. Talk about your process.
Oh my God. I think
all
my
that
favorite
meme of like Jesse from Breaking Bad screaming.
No,
that's not even. I found out that shit's not even from Breaking Bad. It is Aaron Paul, but it's from something else. I think of that. I use that. I always look up Jesse Pinkman screaming, and that photo comes up. It's not from Breaking Bad.
What is it from? Good.
I don't know.
But not Breaking Bad.
I love. That's more of that picture of Wall in the car screaming.
Oh yeah,
I like the thing with the pizza.
Oh, him throwing the pizza on the house. I've never seen this show. I finished Better Call Saul though.
Me neither.
I can't find the last season. Okay, sorry.
No, it's all good.
If I can get the link, I'll send it to you. That's not the point though.
What's that link, Meg?
How to become Benji?
How do I become Benji? I love to. I've noticed that halfway through by the time I'm like midway through recording, I'm always on my tippy toes. I always end up on my tippy toes with like I always T-Rex arms, tippy toes.
Nice.
Because I feel like that's if Benji wasn't watched by people and he was like doing science or reading something or looking at something, he'd be like
that'd be the posture. Yeah.
And
Benji
then the way
T-Rex.
Benji is because I vibe really hard with Benji as a neurodivergent person. I see a lot of myself in him, especially when I was young, because I'm not a girl anymore, but I was hashtag a girl in STEM. I was that science bitch. I electrified a pickle for the ha-has. So we'll get into that in our other podcast called What the Fuck Is That, Megan?
If you want to see that show happen, support us on
Patreon.
Or I'll tell you whack shit I do because nobody's watching me. But the way I get into character is I say, hi, I'm Benji Epstein and you're watching Heinous Investigations like I'm on Disney Channel. I just say it over and over again until I feel it in like the back of my throat, and then I'm like, okay.
I love that so much.
It's perfect.
That's what I do for like 3 minutes before I record.
It just draws a dumpster fire.
All right, let's knock out I swear there's only 2 more questions, guys. We could do
You
this.
said that
Speed
last
round.
time.
That's
Speed
I
round.
know.
2 questions.
Okay, I can't count.
20
Somebody
seconds to
keeps
answer.
adding questions.
Yeah.
Who's adding more questions?
I will say just really
Who's on
quickly,
first?
if we're finishing the creative process question, I'll say after we get all of the episodes collected on our big bad podcast drive in the cloud, I guess. Yes. It gets thrown together by the editors, and then I listen to it, send my feedback, and it's like kind of an iterative process, and then it is finally finished, and then you all get to listen to it, and then we talk about it.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
And then we record that, and then we got to listen back to the
Okay,
That's
next
the
question.
circle of life.
Speed round.
And it moves us all.
Speed round.
Well, this one's going to be a quick one, I think, because I'm not going to be able to remember off the top of my head for most of this. I don't want to ramble again. So
skip it.
Well, the question is, what are some of the stories that ended up on the cutting room floor? Do you think you'd bring any ideas back? Are there are there any we are definitely losing?
Hilarious. I almost nailed it.
Okay, well, I've talked about it before. It's mainly, I had a few ideas, but I didn't find that they were very good translated to an audio medium. They're not impossible, but they're just not for me. Like I've said before, like I like a lot of story cliches, and one of the story cliches that I really like is facing your greatest fears in some way, shape, or form. That's a very popular episode, and especially ones that resonated with me when I was watching them as a kid who was scared of everything. But like seeing my favorite characters do that made me feel better. So I loved that idea, and I thought about it, but I couldn't see it working, at least not in the humorous context. I feel like those kinds of episodes are very, very like fast paced because you're fitting in, especially the more characters you have, because you're fitting in a lot of growth and also humor, because let's be real, some of these investigators would have some really whacked out worst fears. Like you're fitting a lot of that into a period of time, and the way that you get around that, I feel like, is usually either it's a slow burn, like you see with really successful horror podcasts and psychological thriller podcasts, or it's usually in the comedic sense, it's usually supplemented with visuals, which is something we can't really do. So it would be really fun, and I would think about it maybe as a bonus content thing where we read it script style. But also I remember James did a really nice Halloween fic fest that kind of had this premise, and it was great. And you should listen to the first Halloween fic fest if you want kind of an idea of what that could be like. But yeah, I think that, and that kind of brings me into the next point. I think a lot of the stories that are too like, they just don't, I can't see them being a full story arc with multiple episodes, or even like a very long episode. Like I can't see the sense in like making the story that long, or I don't think it translates very well to our particular style and brand of how we use the audio. Then chances are I'll usually write it in script format just for fun, and then it'll end up in like a bonus content thing or a Halloween fic fest thing. Let us also not forget that like other people do this also with, again, the fic fest and the classic Cersei thinks you can dance. So I'd say that I try to get as many crazy stories in there as possible. But yeah, I think that's kind of, if the stories that I have to cut do show up in any way, shape, or form, it'll be that way. All right. And the last question, if the characters had to give I had no idea what this was, Udemy, apparently it's like an online learning website. The type, what?
How do you spell it?
Udemy.
Oh, I see it.
So kind of like university or academy.
Oh, university and academy in one. Got it.
Yeah. So
if we had to give a TED talk.
Yeah, I know that there are other online learning and skill websites like Skillshare. I know Skillshare because I watch a lot of YouTube stuff, and Skillshare is a sponsor on a lot of things. But yeah, so it's kind of like that, if you know what Skillshare is. We are not sponsored. But Owen asked if the characters had to give a Udemy, I don't know, style class, what would it be on? And
the art of picking up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he would call it exactly that and show up in a bathroom.
100%.
I also have an alternative for Algae, but before we get to that, I know that Emily does have to hop out soon. So let's just hear her Cersei answer.
Cersei would be the art of doing nothing and everything at the same time. Or like the art of the bare minimum.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's
and it
true.
would have a lot of snacks included with it. Like as part of, whether it was online or not, as part of the class fee, you would get a box of snacks.
That's so good. It's like, I'm doing nothing, but I'm still doing better than you.
Exactly.
Love that.
Shows up to the class, gets into the lecture position, eats chips for the whole hour.
There's 100% that would be one of the classes just like staring
Slowly.
straight at the camera.
Slowly
She goes,
eating chips.
any questions? The bag's done. She goes, any questions?
Any questions? Great. And then just leaves.
Honestly, that is perfect. 100%.
And on that note, I'm going to do as Cersei does. I don't have a bag of chips, but goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Emily.
Bye-bye.
That's my business partner.
Your business.
All right.
Business.
So the last, so I think we're continuing. Yeah. Well, first, bye, Emily. So sad. But we're almost done here with these questions. I think I actually pulled up pictures of all the characters so we didn't forget anyone. I will say, alternatively for Algae, I'd also like to offer up some form of dance class. I think that he definitely has some dancing skills.
Yeah, that tango.
And he 100%, given how fast, like given his like speed abilities, he would be able to like
how to get jiggy with more than the gritty.
I was just thinking
I invested all my points in wit and I am not taking them back.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, I feel like he would be like, I feel like some people would get annoyed with him though, because he would probably dance for like an hour and probably not break a sweat, and that would frustrate people.
Yeah,
but then he would be in great shape to go straight to the pickup class.
Yeah. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have another class to attend.
Just flips off. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I'm thinking that. Why do I feel like Benji and Rachel would co-teach a class?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely would be featuring, and it would be both of their names. It doesn't matter who's leading the class.
I feel like they would do a class on how to replicate the traps from Home Alone. I feel like that would be their class.
That's really good.
Booby trapping 101.
I fully believe that if left to their own devices, especially in that big house, Benji and Rachel would 100% do that.
I keep thinking of, are any of you familiar with the YouTuber? He either goes by Nile Red or Nile Blue. No. Nobody knows who I'm talking about.
I feel awkward now. I feel like I should.
I haven't seen anything.
He's fabulous. He just does weird chemistry. He's like, let me turn this this pack of rubber gloves into grape soda flavoring. And then he does it, and then he drinks the grape soda.
Oh my god.
No, love that. Wait, hang on.
And he just does stuff like that. And I'm like, that's some whack, like, chemistry science magic that Benji would be doing. He'd be like, 100%. Here is a bag of cotton balls that I'm going to turn into real cotton candy using science.
Yeah, I have seen that, I think.
That's one of his videos.
Yeah.
I just heard him. I heard him.
No, you didn't. I may have seen some of his things once before.
Oh, he's great. He posts like hour-long videos where he goes like super in-depth on the like actual science of it. And I'm like, yeah, totally, babe. Turn those cotton balls into cotton candy, sweetheart. You're doing great. But I think Benji he'd definitely do science for like a bunch of 30-year-olds who don't have the mental capacity to understand what he's talking about. But he's just like, yeah, it says here in the textbook that they're like, why is he so smart?
He's not allowed to know this.
I feel like Rachel has canonically made a whole PowerPoint presentation like, dear mother, I deserve to have a pony, and this is why. 300 reasons. Look at this pony, it's very cute, and I want it, and I should have it.
Yeah. That's
She
definitely
teaches
true.
a class and it's only her mom in the class is why
Yeah,
I need a
why I
phone.
need a phone.
Welcome to my TED Talk, mother.
Mommy,
What's even more
camera
hilarious
pan to
is
just the mom.
the idea that she would put up like a ridiculous title of like how to get your parents to give you anything, specifically to lure her in, and
What
then
do I-
end the TED Talk
I feel
by
like
making her a public demonstration.
no God. Moving on. I think Carlton would basically do a class on how to be your own defense in court.
Mhm.
Just fully.
How to butcher a defense in court.
I was gonna say, like, what do you call, how to contest a parking ticket.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Is my client a perfect man? No, not at all. Yeah, I killed him.
Oh my God, yes.
Can I have 10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes. The number of times Brennan Lee Mulligan gets brought up in this freaking discussion.
We're fans of
Brennan.
BLM. What can I say?
What can we say? Yeah.
Oh yes.
He's an icon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, but I think that would be Carlton's kind of vibe. And I think he would get really angry when no one would understand what he was saying. Like he would just use legal jargon, not even caring.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of who else we got. Liza, I feel like pretty straightforward. Something with plants.
Something with plants. I was thinking like maybe it's just because I consume this content, but I don't know if y'all have ever gone through like a I want to be a farmer phase where you just watch like people on YouTube where they're like, here's how I farm with my like 1 acre of land and I feed myself like off of the land.
Yeah, it's not.
That's so good.
Being in New Hampshire does not help that. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm kind of. It's like you think you. Yeah, it's like you think it's hard for you. I'm in the freaking city. I don't have a lawn or a balcony or really a window that allows for good sun for plant growth.
Yeah, but when you're near farm territory, you're just like, well, I could do it, and the reality is no, you cannot.
Oh
no, it's so much work.
Yeah.
Oh, my chia pet died. Like,
but yeah, no, I think 100%. Like something with like farming. I truly think that Liza could fully just grow food and sustain like herself 100%. Yep.
Goals.
Yeah.
Cottage court. Goals.
Yeah. Liza, I think, aspires to like that cottage core lifestyle. I'm just like looking at list of podcast characters. Oh God, why did I make so many? I think Frank would want to teach a disastrous cooking class, but they wouldn't let him.
They would not let him.
No.
It would be for one day the course would show up, and then the next day you'd get like some underground email from an unverified account for the course.
Oh my God.
And not be able to find it on the school website at all.
Gosh. I also think that like after getting kicked out from the cooking, like getting defined for the cooking class, I think that he could also I see Frank trying to do something like teaching robotics to kids or something, or having them like build machines with Legos, something cool, something fun. Definitely. He would probably be the one person who could make something with Legos explode unintentionally.
But of the same robotics class I did, where I made a diving robot.
Miriam would be like how to make swords, like just
blacksmithing 101.
Yeah, blacksmithing 101. Nate is
in
art
reality
history.
It's like blacksmithing 401.
Yeah, Nate's art history because
Nate's art history.
It's his master's. God dang it! And he's
his master's, and I mean, I'm sorry, but what else are you gonna do with an art history master's degree?
Oh, good lord! He tried. Okay, he
did
knew
try.
what he wanted.
He did know what he wanted.
And I feel like I don't know about Delia. Honestly, I feel like she couldn't even handle teaching a class. I feel like she would just try to crash the website.
Delia's course would be named arts history and precious mementos throughout time. But what it would be is a crash course on breaking and entering.
God. You know?
And by crash course, I mean she pulls a vehicle into the building and goes, "Get in, we're going for a robbery."
Oh my God.
Or I feel like her course would be like how to like finally beat those damn investigators, and like every episode, like every course, like class, she would be like trying like
a new evil plan,
concocting a new scheme, and she'd be like, see, this is how you do it. Like exactly. Last class it was like, you know, whatever, but this class
we're gonna do it
how you do it. And then
it's like it's like she's workshopping the ideas, but she's not actually accepting feedback.
Okay, we've got like 5 minutes, a little bit more. We got like 6 minutes here. I'm gonna speed run it. Ginny, believe it or not, knitting.
Yeah.
I think like nothing like necessarily related to like her like vampire self or anything like that.
I mean, really any wound you attain through knitting can be easily solved.
Sure. Yeah, but knitting. She's a knitter. Jack would be something really boring like Microsoft Excel. We just had to use Microsoft Excel. I think what do you call it?
Monitoring stocks.
I think Martin would be something kind of classy like wine tasting. Yes. I feel like that's something he'd be very into. Sure. How to like freaking like sommeliers just how to
or wine pairing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's that's what I mean. Like, yeah, it's definitely like a sommelier course where you definitely like you have to taste the wine. You have to like be able to describe it.
Sniff it. The wine pairing would be like the 202.
Yeah, very nice. Oh God, Orville.
Minding your own business 101.
I was going to say meditation. We all sit in silence.
I was going to say it would be described as a lesson on like controlling your inner demons or like self-help and therapy, but it would really just be how to bottle up your emotions and never deal with them.
So true.
Yeah, season 2's coming, baby.
I'm just going to take all my feelings and I'm going to put them over here, and then one day I'll die.
So good.
I think the only character left is, oh, look at that, it's me. But no, it's the other one.
All of you.
Elliot's going to be something with like reading, because I was thinking at first, I was like, maybe he'll do like a first aid course, but I think he would get very anxious with that responsibility very quickly, because someone's going to mess it up.
It'd be literature from his favorite decade so far.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I feel like Elliot and Orville could both like collaborate on like in literature class.
You know, that's actually very true. They could, because
one for
definitely
books, one for poetry.
When one of them just gets like when Elliot gets too anxious or Orville gets tired of talking, they just switch.
Yeah.
And I think if Elliot were to be in like his demon mode, if Psy were around,
if Psy.
I don't think Psy would I don't think Psy would teach. I think Psy would just crash Martin's wine class and just chug.
Well, I mean, depending upon the decade, there might be a fair amount of smut that Psy has read, so the class doesn't need to change.
You know, you're very right.
Let's do a lesson on Song of Solomon.
Like I was gonna say, the chalkboard just like it starts out like literature throughout history, and then he grabs the chalkboard, he just flips it, and it's smut throughout history.
It's just boobs.
Oh my God, it's just drawings.
You
know,
crudely drawn, not even spherical boobs.
Not even spherical.
All boobs are different. Some, you know, he's gonna have some asymmetrical ones in there. He's gonna have big ones.
We have to respect all body types here. We respect all body types here.
Yes, 100%. Psy, that is one place where Psy would not discriminate.
That's fair.
Yeah. But anyway, what a way to end that question.
Everyone can be killed equally.
Okay. But yeah, I think those are all of our fun questions going into season 2. I did owe some spoilers, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly do very simple kind of 1 word to 1 sentence hints for every story arc in season 2. You're in for a treat. Okay. Let's see if I can speed run this. Here we go.
Yes.
Story arc number 1. circus. That's all you get. Story arc number 2. Let's go with Frank gets a backstory. Number 3, Orville faces his problems, ? Story arc 4. Just chaos. So much widespread chaos.
James and I.
Oh my god. Next one. Cowboys. Next one. Oh gosh. Nate gets an episode. Next one. Or more than one episode. Next one. Oh my gosh. I can do this. I don't remember the order of the episodes. The next one is drunk. Just everyone's drunk.
Drunk. Okay.
Everyone's drunk.
I play a child.
Everyone in the episode.
Alcohol is icky.
The children are drunk on power. It's fine.
Everyone in the episode is drunk. And finally, story-wide finale, party crashing of epic proportions. Okay, those are your spoilers.
All right.
Woo!
I've seen the whole show now.
Yeah.
I don't even have to watch season 2.
Well,
I don't watch it at all.
I was gonna say
it's that good.
It's not a TV show.
And this is where we say goodbye. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye. I'm so sorry.
Patreon.